Sometimes, Frankie, I think I know what you're going to say. I'm thinking I'm going to ask Frankie about this. She's probably going to say that, right? Unsure here. So Kyle Walker-Peters, first part of his medical today, set to join, free transfer, 3-year contract. What's your thoughts on signing Kyle Walker-Peters?
I like it. I think it makes a lot of sense. Almost, I'm sure this is pure accident. If you didn't know better and you're maybe not a West Ham fan, maybe don't know how the board operate, you'd almost be sitting there and say they've actually thought this one out and and planned and actually thought, well, actually this makes a lot of sense. It's good cover. It maybe is a slightly different player, but also at certain times of the season, it actually is going to come in handy. All round, I think it is a perfect signing for the squad that we've got. And what makes it even more of a signing that I'm very happy with is that he plays a lot of football matches. That season that he had in the Championship, I think he played like 42 games. Like he just plays a lot of football, and he's just Mr. Consistent. He's never going to be a world beater. He's never going to be someone that gets us on the edge of our seats. But if you want a steady Eddie who's going to be a very solid player that we can call upon whenever we need him, I'm not going to say the words he doesn't get, because he'll come to West Ham and all of a sudden become the most injury-prone player in the world, because that's what we do. But on paper, it's everything that adds a lot of depth to that squad. So I'm happy.
Where do you think it's come from? Because obviously, like a month or so ago, we were sort of told by those in the know that Potter didn't like him, close to joining Besiktas, and there's been a U-turn somewhere, and he's ended up at West Ham. Do you think it's Sullivan meddling? Do you think maybe our offer to Kyle Walker-Peters was initially rejected by him for more money with Besiktas, and he decided, actually, I don't want to go to Turkey. I'd rather stay in England. I'll take the lesser financial package and go to West Ham. Do you think maybe Potter's changed his mind initially, didn't want to, maybe because the money that was required to sign him, maybe that's changed and that's made Potter think, well, actually, this now becomes more affordable, more realistic, less of an impact on the budget. What do you think's prompted the change?
Yeah, I mean, we're not doing a positivity podcast here, but even if we were, I think you'd be forgiven at any point for not being positive when the board are involved. But maybe it is down to the fact that they were coming up with excuses to reasons why we didn't get him. We know that there has been no movement until money's come in. Well, now money's come in, there seems to be some movement. Was it purely down to that? But they didn't really want to hold their hands up and say, we can't sign until financially we're in a better place. So they'd rather blame it on Potter don't fancy him. Whereas actually maybe Potter was quite all right with him, but they didn't want to put their hands up and admit that, because it looks terrible, doesn't it, if you was to say that? So
yeah, I think that's a really fair and balanced and possible scenario, especially when you consider what West Ham are like, and we know how they like to sort of spin the narrative, if you want. Oh, it's not our fault, it's X, Y, or Z's fault. So that adds up, actually, what you're saying. I think you've almost convinced me that could be the possible reason. My opinion remains the same. I think it's a smart sign. I think it's a sensible sign. And it's a boring signing. I'm sticking with that. I got a bit of grief earlier for calling it a boring signing, Frankie, but I'm not going to pretend I'm excited about signing Kyle Walker-Peters. I think it's someone replying said, it's not boring, it's sensible. It's like, I literally said it's sensible. In the video, I said it's sensible and boring. But you've only picked out half of it to criticise me with. But boring, but sensible and smart. And I think we needed backup. We needed cover for Wan-Bissaka. I think he's more than that, though. I don't think we're signing, someone that's really young, so he won't get into the team because he's too inexperienced. But also not signing someone that's in their 30s and therefore it's just cover, which is what Sufal or Creswell would have been had we extended their contract. They would have been cover. I don't think that's Walker-Peters. I think he's better than that. I think he's an option. I think he's good enough. The problem is he'll be directly challenging with the Hammer of the Year last season, someone we just spent 90 million on. So it's going to be difficult for him to dislodge either of those. But I do think there will be games next season where he starts whilst Wan-Bissaka and Diouf are also available. Either maybe he's dropped off. Maybe Wan-Bissaka's playing right centre-back of a back three or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him start when those are available. He's not here for covering for African Cup of Nations only. I think he's going to have a bigger part to play. But it's a role, it's a position that we needed fulfilled. And it isn't the most exciting thing in the world. It's not. But we still needed it done. And it allows us to focus our attention, energy, and more importantly, money elsewhere in team for bigger priorities. Because I was always a bit unsure about spending money on a right back type player because I thought, well, are they really going to get in the team? You're going to have to get someone really good to compete with Wan-Bissaka, but is it necessary? I'm not so sure. So you're getting someone in that's free. There's obviously agent fees and sign-on fees, etc., associated, but still cheaper usually than buying someone. So I can't see any negatives in this one, Frankie. So,
do you ever see them both playing at the same time, Wan-Bissaka and Walker-Peters?
Yeah, I think we might see Wan-Bissaka playing as a right-sided centre-back in a back three sometimes next season. Not always. I don't think it'll be his main position. I think Potter has shown throughout his career he changes a lot. He changes the team a lot. He changes the formation a lot. You could play 4-3-3, win 3-0. Next week he'll switch to back three again. He will often change. So I think there'll be some games you see Wan-Bissaka right wing back, three centre backs. The next game you might see Wan-Bissaka in the back three with Walker-Peters at wing back. The next week you could see Wan-Bissaka and Walker-Peters as the wing backs for that game. It may be that we're playing 4-3-3. You might find Walker-Peters left back and Doof playing left wing. Who he's played there. He's only a young lad, but he has experience playing further up the pitch as well. So I think it opens up just a lot of possibilities. We're not bringing in a player that can only play right back. We're bringing in a player that can play either side, full back or wing back. I think it ticks a lot of boxes. Plus he's homegrown, 3-year deal. I'm happy with that. Job done. Move on to the next one.
Sounds good to me.
Speaking of the next one, still a lot of talk about Harvey Elliot today, Frankie, but suggests that we might try and get him on loan with an option to buy. Still feels, I'm going to be kind and use the word ambitious.
Well, that's exactly what we ask of them, isn't it? That's exactly the word that we always want West Ham to be, is ambitious. I'd kind of got over it a little bit. He's the sort of player that I would just give anything for. I can almost see him, if I was going to put it into a context of how does he come in and how does he impact West Ham, it's almost Smith Rowe going to Fulham. I think it's a similar sort of scenario. I think he would come in. I think he would be just everything that we all hope out of a midfielder. I think he'd get us playing better football. I think he'd link the play up. I think it's the man and the type of player that I don't feel like I've suffered Souček because I have always been all right with Souček. Souček's someone that I have a lot of fondness of because how much he is West Ham and he loves West Ham, and that used to mean something to us as a fan base. When people give everything, we used to back them and get behind them, regardless of how good they were at football. But it's not even like Souček's bad at football because he's, out of all the players that we've had in terms of his goal contributions and what he's added to us, he's good. But I think what we do lack from a Thomas Souček, Harvey Elliot gives you everything else that you could want from a midfielder. And I just think he would be superb. He would be like the perfect fit. If where we always say, round pegs and square holes and all this and that and the other, I think he just comes in and just links everything up perfectly. So I'm hopeful. I've kind of then got over it because it seemed like it was absolutely done and dusted and he had absolutely no interest in joining West Ham. And maybe there's now a little glimmer of hope again. So the optimist in me has been sparked. And I'm just for whatever West Ham, just for once, just go and get something right and show a bit of ambition and bring in a player that we all actually would get excited by.
To be fair, I think we have done in the past. I think I would suggest that Kudus was someone. And certainly when we got linked to him, I thought, nah, we're not going to get Kudus. And when we did, my excitement went through the roof. I remember it. I remember exactly where we were when we signed him. It helps. I was on holiday, so it's easier to remember. But I remember being in Catalonia with Mrs. Gio, been like, right, let's go down the bar and get the shots and we're celebrating. We're signing Mohammed Kudus. Meant nothing to her, but I was that happy with that. I was like, I'm celebrating this. This is a signing. I would argue that even last summer, I would argue Jean-Claire Todibo was a show of ambition and intent and statement. Went toe-to-toe with Juve and said, well, we're going to outbid you here. We really want him. You want him and he prefers to go to you. We're just going to make it that you can't have him. We're going to come in and flex our muscles a little bit. So I think we have shown ambition bringing players in. Skamaka, Haller, they were ambitious signings. They were the wrong signings and utilised incorrectly by the managers at the club, etc. They didn't work out for one reason or another. But then we've always had some ambition. And I think, Elliot, I agree with you, would be that. That would get me excited. That's when I go, hello, now we're making moves here. No, still not getting my hopes up. Still don't think it's going to happen. But I feel like I've almost convinced myself that not every club's going to be in the running for him, right? So if we're the only club there bidding, his options are be on the bench at Liverpool or be one of the best players and main players at West Ham. Now, I understand why a lot of people would choose the bench at Liverpool. Don't get me wrong. But he's decided he wants regular game time. So I don't think it's unrealistic as some, but I also don't think it's as likely as others, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm in the middle of the hopes and whatever. So fingers crossed we get some Harvey Elliot stuff. Right. Before we get your thoughts on the kit, but West Ham are back in action tomorrow. Our first friendly of pre-season against Grasshoppers. Frankie will be doing the watch-along for it. It's his watch-along debut on Hammers Chat. So come and keep him company. What time's kickoff? Do you know?
2:00.
There you go. He's more prepared than I am. That's good. Be a bit worried if you didn't know. But 2:00. So Frankie will be live at...
Do you know what, Gio? I think as it's, I would go on an hour early, but I don't think that's necessary for tomorrow. There's not enough going on. So half an hour, 1:30, I think is.
There you go. 1:30. Frankie will be live on this channel with the build-up and the watch-along for West Ham taking on Grasshoppers in first friendly. So come and join him. You can put the game on your telly and have Frankie on your mobile phone. Keep him company. Have a little chat with other West Ham fans. It'd be good. It'd be a bit of fun. Are you looking forward to the game?
I am. I always look forward to pre-season because, again, if you're ever looking for, well, it's not even that, Joe. You know how much I love football. And the amount of football I've watched this week, I've been to the Cray Wanderers under-14s match. I've been to Welling United versus Leyton Orient because our football coach for our team was supposed to play for Welling United. He's going out on loan. They got spanked 10-0 by Leyton Orient. Sonny Perkins scored 2. So he was glad he didn't feature and the loan hadn't gone through in time. But he's actually playing tonight for Bromley against Cray Wanderers at Cray. So I'm actually going up to that one. So I love football, but there's nothing like West Ham. As much as I try and get a fix elsewhere, it's not the same.
Did you not watch England women against Sweden women?
That's not football, Gio. It's not.
Did you not? Did you see the penalty shootout?
I did. It was very interesting, wasn't it?
I watched the game. Not very good. Not my cup of tea. It's difficult to get into it, but the penalties were entertaining. Not for the wrong reasons, but they were entertaining. 9 missed out of 14. The goalkeeper took a pen and took it like a goal kick. Belted it over the bar. But I almost feel bad because they're wanting to change the narrative around women's football, and I understand why. And I appreciate it's a growing sport and people are interested in it. If you are, that's okay. But for this, the Euros is a bit of an advert for women's football to maybe get people into women's football. Like the Club World Cup, when the competition finished, during the competition, I was enjoying watching the Brazilian clubs. So Palmeiras, Flamengo, I was watching them thinking, they're playing all right football. There's some good players here. It made me think, maybe I should watch some more Brazilian football. I've never watched Brazilian football. It made me think, maybe I should watch a bit of this because I'm enjoying the Brazilian teams. So the Women's Euros is an opportunity, I think, to change people's minds a little bit and say, look, this is good stuff. This football's good. We've come a long way since you last watched it. I don't think last night was a great advert for women's football in general. But anyway, back to West Ham. I'm looking forward to it, Frankie. I won't watch the game, obviously, but I'm pleased football's back. I like pre-season. I don't take it too serious. However, I do think you can take a lot of stuff from friendlies. You can get a lot of indicators and indications of how you're going to play, where players are going to play, how players are going to play. And there's a few I'm looking forward to. And I think it's important that I don't think it's unrealistic to suggest that Fulkrug will start against Sunderland on the first weekend of the season, right? I don't think that's a wild thing. With that in mind, I want to see him get some goals in pre-season because although it's just friendlies, I think as a striker, if you can get a few goals in, get your confidence up, get a bit of momentum, so when the first game of the season comes around, you're feeling good. You're feeling good about yourself. You've got good relationships with the players on the pitch. When that ball drops to you, instead of taking 2 touches, you're hitting it first time. Just small differences. So I'm pleased it's back. I'm looking forward to getting a bit of an insight. Is there anything in particular you are looking forward to discovering? Not necessarily players, it can just be players, but is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Yeah, very similar to last pre-season, actually. And I know we had a brand new manager in pre-season last season, so I really wanted to get an idea of how he wanted to play football. Like I said, as much as that's not the case this time, and I think we all have an idea of what Potter's all about and how he plays, and it's been very similar anywhere that he's been. But I just want him to show us something a little bit more ambitious, more front foot. I just want to tactically see us, I'm hoping that how he's going to play football is setting the tone for next season.
Yeah,
so I just really want to see what he's up to and how he's going to try and get us, moving the ball a bit more quickly. And actually, chance creation is the big thing. We're all right saying we want to see goals from Fulkrug. Well, he's only going to get them if we feed him the ball and create more chances than we did last season. So I want to see how Potter's going to do that and how he's going to go about things.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with everything you just said. I'm kind of hoping Guilherme gets a good shot early doors pre-season because there's not much competition at the minute for that sort of attacking midfield wide position. So if you were to ask me what I want to see, well, I don't want to see 2 strikers. So forget formation at the back for a second here. Whether it's 3 at the back or you view it as 5, I just describe it as 3 because I like to describe formations by how a team are in possession rather than out of possession. That's why I call it a back 3. But regardless of whether it's a 3 or a 4, I don't want to see 2 strikers. So if it's a 3, I'd rather see 1 striker with 2 players either side of him. And if it's 4 at the back, I'd still rather have 1 striker with 2 players either side of him. So that's Fulkrug and Bowen with the right. So it's that left side sort of there to be one. And with Kudus obviously going, the vacancies there. Somerville's not quite ready yet, I believe. So that would suggest that there's a spot there to give someone an opportunity. And I think Guilherme has got to be at the top of the list for me, really. We've got a few options we can try there. I know people are laughing, I understand why, but Cornet's here. You'd imagine he's going to get minutes in pre-season and get an opportunity under Graham Potter. I don't think he'll be here when the window closes, but whilst he is here, you've got to treat them with the assumption they're going to be here when the window closes, so that if it does shut and they're still a West Ham player, they can be part of your squad. What you can't do is just ignore them, window closes and go, right, now what we're going to do? How do we integrate this guy back in? Because you look at Man U, what they're doing at the minute, Rashford, Garnacho, Sancho, and Malacia, they're all training separately. They're turning up at 5 p.m. at Carrington to do their training on their own. They cannot be brought back into the squad once the window closes. If they haven't left, they're with the 121s until January, really. We can't be in that situation. So I'm looking forward to seeing Guilherme. I'm hoping he gets a chance. I'm hoping he takes it. And that we can have a conversation towards the Sunderland game that maybe he's done enough to Warden to start in that match. That's got to be his ambition over the next 4 weeks. A big one, but that's what I'm hoping to see. From pre-season to new kits, Frankie, the away one come out, are you a fan?
Initial thoughts, I thought, and you messaged me and my instant reaction was boring. I've warmed to it a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have. I don't think it's as bad as maybe the initial reaction warranted. That trim on it's quite nice. The colour, I felt they could have been a bit braver and been more like our old version that we kind of felt that they was going to be more similar to, and actually it's almost like a bit of a watered down version of it. So
Yeah.
it feels like they've just been a little bit, they haven't been brave enough with it. But it isn't like there's nothing that you look at and go wow. But I think it's a steady kit. It's all right. It's all right.
I like it. I'm not one for replica kits really, but I do actually like it. The one it's similar to from a couple of years ago, that white one, I've got it. It's still got the tag on in my wardrobe. I've never worn it. I bought it because I liked it, and just left it hanging up in the wardrobe. But I'm not sure I buy this one because I'll make the same mistake. But I actually liked it. A bit Germany for me. It's looks like the German national team kit. I know it's not white, but that style and the blue shorts as well. And I appreciate Germans usually black, etc. A few of my friends think it's a bit Spursy for them. They're not too keen because they think it looks a little bit Tottenham. But I'm all right. Anyway, Frankie, anything else you'd like to discuss before we disappear?
No, all good. Just happy that football's back. Looking forward to it, and I want to see these those same attitudes that I saw in this sort of training ground media stuff. I want to see loads of that tomorrow. I want to see, like you say, Fulkrug and his character coming through. I want to see Potts and he's looking like he's mean and ready and raring to go. All of these little things that we've been kind of being fed by the media team. I know you can't read too much into friendlies, Gio, but I think we get a measure of whether or not they're to make us feel better or whether they're all actually true. And that's how the squad's feeling right now. So fingers crossed, we come out of tomorrow very, very positive, and it gives everyone a bit of a kickstart to look forward to the season.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's available on playback so I can watch it Sunday morning. I'm hoping to catch up with it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to just rely on people like yourself to tell me who played well and just assume that, all trolling me in one big go. But I don't even know who our friendly is after Grasshoppers. You have an idea?
No, don't we go abroad after that? I'm not.
Yeah, we're off to America,
sure,
aren't we? So
yeah, I did see we said we was going to talk about the under-21s. We didn't have a great result the other night against Ebbsfleet. We lost 2-0. Wasn't the best start to there, but I watched them. They always have that fixture every season, and we got beat by them last year. And they always said that sort of when they come back and it's their first game after the break and they're playing very big, very strong, sort of that level of football. It's all about players that mix it up a little bit.
I think
they don't enjoy that fixture. I had a chat with a couple of the lads and they said it's always a tough one.
I think Ebbsfleet, would I be right in assuming that won't be their first friendly of the summer, or is it their first friendly?
It was their first one as well.
Crikey,
yeah,
that's not good. There was a couple of people I know there. They said Cummings looked useful, I think would be the way of describing it. They weren't like blown away by him, but they thought he looked all right in that game in particular. Anyway, right, that's it for myself and Frankie. If you are watching the game tomorrow, please do come back to the channel tomorrow from 1:30. Keep Frankie company. Have a little chat with him in the live chat for his debut watch along. He's already Todd for a couple of hours, so come keep him company. He relies on the live chat. I know how hard it is when you're doing live content. You need people to talk to you and keep you company. Anyway, that's it from us. If you've enjoyed this video, though, please do drop a like on it by clicking the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let us know your thoughts on the kit. Kyle Walker Peters, Harvey Elliot in the comments below. Myself and Frankie. Catch you in a bit.